So a lot of you want to know how it all started. Well, let me bring you back to 1998. I was 6 years old with Russian immigrant parents, born in Miami as the first generation. When I was younger, my grandfather and father got me into this thing that we call sports. Growing up, they tried to make me a Dolphins fan, and for whatever reason, I would go to the games and scream for Dan Marino to get hurt. As I got older, I started doing school more seriously, right? Middle school, high school. One thing about me was I couldn't get my mind off the sports, which resulted in me in failing school, skipping school, and having a bad relationship with my parents. After high school, I had a lot of odd jobs. I worked at Payless, I worked at Lacoste, I worked at women's shoe stores, and I really realized the American struggle. As I was in college, I unfortunately had to drop out and focus my career because I was wasting money. Years later, I started working at an interactive technology company where I really found out how much I love to travel and how much I love to deal with people, but still getting minimum wage. So one day, one of my friends called me and watched a video on World Star Hip Hop about a sneaker consignment store and somehow convinced me to open up a sneaker consignment store. I knew nothing about sneakers, and we got a lease for a store with no sneakers inside of it. That's when I fell in love with becoming an entrepreneur. But I knew nothing. No marketing, no accounting. So I was building the sneaker store, and it started to get big. We opened the location in Los Angeles, we opened up a location in Miami, and the name Sneak Peek Luxury started to grow. A few years later, in 2018, I opened my first box of sports cards. The first box of sports cards that I opened up since 2003 when I was an avid collector at the young age of 11 years old. Now everyone remembers 2003, that was a big year. LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, the best rookie class of all time, and sports cards were at its peak. But years later, the hobby broke down, and my dream was always to own a sports card store. But the reason why I chose the sneaker route was because sports cards were irrelevant. Now in 2018, when I opened up my first box of Panini One, I hit a Saquon Barkley auto, and what I realized that specific day in that given moment was I wanted to help make sports cards relevant. Now I loved owning Sneak Peek, but that wasn't my true passion. My true passion was sports cards, and my eyes opened up to the hobby. I traveled around local card shops all around Miami, trying to let them know that breaking was going to be the answer to this business, and they all kindly rejected me and shut me down. They did not see the vision. They did not understand that social media and the internet was going to take over this entire industry, and unfortunately, those hobby shops did not live to see the day of the rise of the hobby. So in late 2018, I ended up making a connection with the Los Angeles sports card shop where I started opening up sports cards on live. Then, from there, I opened up Pullwax. Pullwax was the answer to everyone's problems. Pullwax was the reason why we didn't sleep late at night. Pullwax was the reason why I would wake up early in the morning to ship all the packages from last night. So I had an apartment, a small, tiny apartment, where I lived, breathed, and slept the hobby. Now I had no help, and I tried to recruit some people to be able to help me accomplish this journey because I knew I would not be able to do it by myself. So long story short, I got some people to help, some people ended up leaving, and we still figured out a way to make Pullwax great. Now, I was buying the cards, ripping the cards, shipping the cards, doing everything that I possibly could to keep this hobby growing. Then came COVID. So I had to make a decision, which was to resign from Sneak Peek Luxury, give up that company, and take Pullwax on full time. We started breaking on Facebook. We had a Facebook group. Facebook turned into Instagram. And I was breaking on Instagram every single night on the Pullwax Instagram account. Now, I had so many boxes in my house that I had to sleep with packs and cards inside of my bed, and it got out of hand. So what did I do? As soon as COVID stopped, I opened up a retail store where I can hoard all the boxes and actually have some client interaction and experience where people can come into the shop and buy cards in my store, where we were ripping cards at the retail store and no longer doing it at the apartment. Fast forward then, the retail store, we couldn't fit so many people in the break operation, so we actually got an office in Ives Dairy Road, where we would break all day and all night, and we really grew our team. At the apartment, there was 3 people helping us. At the retail store, there was 8. At the office, we ended up having 15 employees. But then we outgrew the office, so we needed bigger space, which we went into a new office where we had 1,500 square feet at the first office. Now we had 7,500, and now this is where we currently operate Pullwax headquarters with shipping. And when we went from 1 break room to 10 break rooms, I never had my own office, had to take calls from the car. Now we got our own office. So this is the story of Pullwax, and now you're going to see our reality show, where you see all of our main characters and the day-to-day lives of how we actually operate this business. The ups, the downs, the wins, the losses. Welcome to the Pullwax show. Strap on your seatbelt. I hope you enjoy.